Israeli attacks across Gaza have killed at least 27 Palestinians since dawn on Tuesday. Southern Gaza's European hospital was targeted with a series of strikes. At least 11 Palestinians were killed and 40 injured. The attacks come after Israel bombed Nasser Medical Complex in Gaza earlier on Tuesday, killing a journalist who was receiving medical treatment there. Hind has more from Deir al-Balah in central Gaza.
It's escalating across the Gaza Strip and especially in the southern parts as the Israeli forces targeted the courtyard and the surroundings of the European hospital in the Gaza Strip in Khan Yunis. And this is one of the biggest hospitals across the Gaza Strip. Now, what happened is the Israeli forces targeted the hospital with 9 missiles in the courtyard, and on the surroundings of the hospital, at least 11 Palestinians have been reported killed, and also at least 40 others have been injured and transferred to al-Nasser hospital. But according to civil defense teams, more people are still trapped under the sand, where what was targeted mainly was the roads and the courtyard of the hospital. Also, in the same attack, a house for al-Afghani family very close to the European hospital was also targeted, where at least 10 Palestinians have been killed. But what we need to know is in the past 24 hours, 2 hospitals have been targeted, where al-Nasser hospital was targeted earlier in the morning today, where the very famous local journalist Hassan Slayih was also killed in that attack. 2 hospitals attacked by the Israeli forces in less than 24 hours, and also there has been continuous attacks on different areas across the Gaza Strip, in the south, in the central area, and also in the northern area. But the situation, the humanitarian situation, is also collapsing, where Palestinians are saying that they do not know if they're going to survive the forced starvation or the continuous airstrikes. Hind Khoudary, Al Jazeera, Deir al-Balah, Gaza, Palestine.
Israel's released a group of Palestinians detained after the October 7th attacks in 2023. 9 were handed over to the International Committee of the Red Cross that facilitated their transfer. They were taken to Al-Aqsa Hospital in Gaza to undergo medical checks. French President Emmanuel Macron has condemned Israel's blocking of food, water and medical assistance from entering Gaza for more than 2 months now. He says Europe should consider sanctions.
For the first time since the beginning of the conflict, can you imagine what is happening? There is no water, there is no medicine. We can no longer take the wounded out. The doctors can no longer go there. What Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is doing is shameful. It is shameful.
Well, there's also been a very strong rebuke of Israel's blockade in Gaza from the UN's Under-Secretary General for Humanitarian Affairs. Gabriel Elizondo reports from the UN headquarters in New York.
Israel is deliberately and unashamedly imposing inhumane conditions on people in the occupied Palestinian territories. That was the message from Tom Fletcher, the UN's top humanitarian official, as he briefed Security Council members in one of the strongest speeches we've heard from a UN official in recent memory. He said this about the ongoing genocide in Gaza.
And now the ICJ is considering whether a genocide is taking place in Gaza. It will weigh the testimony that we have shared, but it will be too late. Recognizing the urgency, the ICJ has indicated clear provisional measures that must be implemented now, yet they have not. Previous reviews of the UN's conduct in cases of large-scale violations of international human rights and humanitarian law, reports on Myanmar 2019, Sri Lanka 2012, Srebrenica, Rwanda, both in 1999, pointed to our collective failure to speak to the scale of violations while they were committed. So for those killed and those whose voices are silenced, what more evidence do you need now? Will you act decisively to prevent genocide and to ensure respect for international humanitarian law? Or will you say instead that we did all we could?
Years from now, people will be asking, what did you do to stop the humanitarian catastrophe in Gaza? Fletcher said simply responding, we did all we could, is not enough. Gabriel Elizondo, Al Jazeera at the United Nations in New York.